I now want to discuss upsampling, which is increasing the number of rows. What we were doing is downsampling, so we're just selecting a subset of our rows. This is just some terminology that you'll see in the documentation. So with as frequency method, when we were selecting, every year, the last day of the year, that is clearly downsampling, right? Because we have 20 years of data, or even every month that is downsampling, or once a week on Friday, that's downsampling, or every 3 weeks on Friday, right? Now, upsampling is when we add more rows to the data frame. So if we use D is just the offset alias for daily, and let's do head of 10. So there is not data for every day in the original. So if we go over here and actually look at head of 10, it's just the trading days, right? So October 30th, October 31st were a weekend in 1999. So they did not show up in the data set. But if we sample every day, pandas will insert, 2 new rows over here, because this is every day, right? So it makes sure that the frequency is the same throughout, right? It's a equal, that's the whole point, that's the whole meaning of the word frequency, is that it happens at this constant frequency. So you're gonna get new rows inserted in for those days. So this is an example of upsampling. We're adding rows over here. You can actually upsample, even though this is by days, we can actually do it by hour. So this is pretty interesting. We're gonna do 4 hours here, so 4H. And so now it's gonna show the hours portion. So the original data just treats the hours as 0, so it's gonna be exact. So right at midnight, even though that's not the actual time whenever the price closed, but the data, just the way it's read in, is assumed that it is at midnight. So you can have, and let's see this over here. So every 4 hours, we've added a new row over here. And it's missing because there's no original data at this point, right? So this is how you can have equally frequent rows at a different rate over here of this frequency. So pretty cool. You can even do something like 5 hours. So this will be interesting. It'll actually skip over the day. Notice it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, then to 1 a.m. So even though there is data on October 26th, but because it's not at midnight, it does not show it. It just shows all these missing rows. It has to be exactly at midnight in order for it to pick up the old data. So 4 hours is at an interval where it does, because 24 hours is divisible by 4, you will see every 6 rows will have will actually have the actual data from the original. So a couple things you can do here. So you can fill in the missing values in the as frequency method. So there's a method parameter, and you can just set this equal to forward fill or backward fill. So forward fill will just fill it going forward, right, until the next day right here, then that will go forward. You can do B fill for backward fill. Another way you can do this is just do the fill NA method, and then you have a little bit more options. Actually, that's actually what fill NA does. Sorry, the interpolate method. So you can linearly interpolate this. So it'll just go slowly to the next value instead of just filling in what the previous value is. So that's pretty cool. So sometimes you have some observations like of temperature over time, but you don't have every single minute or every single hour in your data frame. So this way you can interpolate it, and it will linearly, or you could quadratic interpolate however you want from one point to the next. So you can get, an approximation for those times where you didn't collect the data. So that's also very cool. All right, so that is upsampling and downsampling with the as frequency method. So the previous video we did downsampling, we select a subset. In this video we are upsampling, adding new rows in our data frame.